You never know what you're walking into in this, right, buddy?
Every time I hold my breath before the Brian Golly jingle comes on, thinking to myself, what does he have in store today?
Well, would you go to X and hawk or sell any of your items? Maybe an old fridge that someone could use as a beer fridge in their garage. I don't know.
I've never been to Belize. I've never put a refrigerator on X. But to each their own, I guess. Yeah. I was listening to the conversation, guys. I think you're both right. When it comes to putting butts in seats in stadiums, here's what's happening across sports, especially in outdoor stadiums, especially in ballparks, more than anything else. The game is becoming less and less relevant. The experience entering the turnstiles or the swipe of your app, that matters more than anything. There are more public places for people to gather and get together. No one's sitting in seats anymore for 3 hours. But if you have gathering spots with bars, etc., if there are areas for kids to hang out in, you go to San Diego, you go to the ballpark in San Diego, they have the second biggest wine selection among any restaurant or bar in the city at the ballpark. They have something like 40 different craft beers. There's areas. My friends don't want to go sit in the seats at the Rogers Centre anymore. When they go to the ballpark in Toronto, they just want to just kind of hang out and keep an eye on things and yell when they see a home run. That's where things are going.
But do they want to go to every game? They want to sprinkle in a game here and there, right?
Look, what Winnipeg has done in their new stadium and the Rum Hut and the end zones is made it a place to be. There are a lot of people in that stadium following the game, and there are a lot of people in that stadium who aren't. And that on a Friday night is fun and it's cool and it's a destination. But outside of season ticket holders and your hardcore audience, I honestly believe there is 7,000 to 10,000 people going to that stadium who don't really know what's happening with the football team and probably couldn't name you more than 3 or 4 players.
I think it works.
It works because it's the spot in the city to go on a Friday night, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Let's say 7,000 is your number. Okay, I think in Regina at Mosaic or Saskatchewan, I would think there's 2,500 people, 3,000 that are doing the exact same thing at Mosaic. They're just going for the party. It's like buddies are FOMO. We got to go. Like Labor Day is the prime example of that. So
sure.
If you stagger it or you go off population, we're probably right in line with that because Manitoba does have more population than us. So we are getting that here too. For the life of me, Arash, I can't say how we fast forward things 5 years, 6 years, and all of a sudden in Edmonton and Calgary again, we got full stadiums. I don't think that's ever happening.
No, I agree. And especially the way McMahon and Commonwealth are now. Like those places are such archaic rows and rows and sections of seats with no amenities, with nothing there. You walk in, you would know if it's 1985 or 2025. You know what I mean? Like
the concrete jungle.
Sure. And Montreal was the first. Like you go back 25 years when they were forced to move into Molson Stadium from the Big O. They were the first to really embrace it being an experience there by accident. And it's like the joie de vivre of Montreal and Quebec and all those things. But that's kind of where live sports has gotten to. You go to the new basketball arena in San Francisco, the Chase Center, where Golden State plays. There are more in a basketball arena. The concourses are wide. There's so many gathering and meeting spots where you're not even seeing the floor. And it's packed during games. It's just a social atmosphere. And people like these decision makers have to get away from the thought process of air quotes selling tickets. You have to sell an experience for a night out, not a ticket to a sporting event. And that's a big part of this.
And a lot of people, everybody has the idea and they want to fix things. They want to do this. It's like everything that boils down to the NHL. Everybody leans, salary cap. You know what? There's more to it than that. To me, make it, if you've got 9 teams, make it the best 9-team league that's doing professional football out there. However that needs to be. Bigger's not always better. New isn't always better either. Sometimes go back to the old. Go back to I look at what Barney says in the end zone above Pill Country there, where they have the bands at Mosaic. If you turn that into a party deck, basically, and those are $20 tickets, it's standing room only. It's just bar after bar after bar. And if you want to watch the big screen, you can. And if you want to visit with your friends, it's just another option. I know Barney and Sharky love to get on the fact that there's no tailgate. Make that the in-stadium tailgate, because then you get all their money too. You get all of their money too.
I don't think we have enough population, functioning human beings that would go to a football game that the rest of the stadium would look even more empty, because everyone would want to go for the $20 get buckled on the concourse ticket. And then,
I don't think everybody. I think
a lot
the
of people
that would end up there, a lot of them are likely people who haven't been coming to games as is. I think what that would do is draw a newer audience that isn't going to the stadium. That's just my take.
I purposely on Saturday sat at the family member's cabin, and there was from 12 years old to, I think there was to 30 years old, there was probably 12 human beings in that demographic. I was the only one watching the Rider game, and I was into it. And the only thing that 3 of them came by, I purposely was like a little bit of a test pilot here. They came and said, "What's the score?" And then they went, They left. "What's the score?" That's it. So we could go on.
Now, my question is, and I hear you, that's August 1st in a country where we have 10 nice weeks of weather a year?
A province.
Right. What if it's pouring rain outside, or what if it's, Halloween and it's miserable outside? Does that change? Maybe. Nobody's sitting in front of their television on August 1st watching the Blue Jays out at the lake. But if you're doing Thanksgiving with the whole family at the lake, and the Blue Jays are in the playoffs playing a 4:00 game on a Sunday or Thanksgiving Monday, is everybody watching? Maybe. I don't know. So I think
the younger demo, and you'll meet my wife next month, and we can have this chat. And she'll talk about
later this month, 3 weeks from now, bud.
How curriculum has changed, and how the children and how they think, how their brain is nowadays. I just hockey, football, basketball, anything. It's a special kid that'll sit down and watch a sporting event. But
yeah, I remember. I'll tell you this story, and we can move on after this. I remember in 2019 when the Raptors were doing their thing. And I was covering the Blue Jays at the time, and the Jays are a 97-loss team. They're on the long road to nowhere. And one day pregame batting practice or something, Ross Adkins, the GM, I'm like, "Ross, there's nobody coming to games." He's like, "Yeah, the Raptors run is really taking away a lot of our fans." And I just looked at him. I said, "Dude, the Raptors you're not competing with the Raptors." He's like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "You're competing with cottages. You're competing with patios. You're competing with restaurants. You're competing with house parties. You're competing with the musicals and the theater. You're competing with people's disposable time and money. It's not just one sport against another." And at that time, he had just come from Cleveland. He had no idea what I was talking about. But I think we also have to remember there are choices people have, and there are things they want to do with their time. And there's less time and less money that people have now more than ever. So it's a fight right now for sport to get eyeballs and interest.
But then there's some people that have places in Belize. It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Okay, so last week, I like chatting with you because we can talk a plethora of sporting topics.
Yeah.
This Canadian, now we got a tennis player, a Canadian that's making waves.
Who's 18 years old.
Yeah.
18 years young, Victoria Mboko, whose family is from the Congo. She was born in the U.S. As a very young child. They moved to southwestern Ontario, who began the year 333 in the world, is now into the top 50, will play in the semifinals tomorrow. If you're watching on the stream, we just showed you match point when she beat Coco Gauff the other night, a 2-time Grand Slam champion. This has come out of nowhere in 2025, and Mboko is just taking Montreal by storm. The crowd chanting "Victoria, Victoria." We kind of saw this with Bianca in 2019. She went on to win the U.S. Open, but this is an 18-year-old kid on the rise. I've been hearing about her from the junior development people for the last couple of years. They said, "Don't sleep on this Mboko." I'm like, okay. And it's now all happening right now, and it's happening at home in a WTA 1000. It's pretty amazing.
Because usually when it comes to swimming and, I don't know, Kurt Harnett, throw him in there. That was an Olympic sport too. Tennis, anything like that. We only really talk about these people, I feel, in Olympic years. But now with what Summer did in the pool last week, that was everywhere. And it's the downtime for sports in the country. And then now what Mbako is doing as a tennis player, it's kind of captivating people.
It really is. And I really think the out of nowhere part is enters the conversation here. I think the fact that she's doing it in Montreal, if this was happening in Tokyo in the middle of the night, we probably wouldn't be paying as much attention. I remember being in Montreal covering the tournament in 2017 when a then 17-year-old or 18-year-old Denis Shapovalov beat Rafael Nadal. And I took the subway the next day to the tennis, and everyone on the Metro platform was just like, chapeau, 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 chapeau. These things kind of gain more and more momentum. And now she's in the semifinals of an elite tournament. Outside the Grand Slams, the 1000s are the biggest ones on tour. So entering the top 50, guys, she's now put herself into this kind of next stratosphere where nobody kind of expected it to happen. So it's a pretty amazing story.
And I know that watching Wimbledon this year while we were on vacation, I was able to, because my mother-in-law loves watching tennis, and I lost the fight for the remote control many days in the living room at the condo. But to see, because a lot of in tennis now, Arash, and you know this, a lot of those big, you mentioned Nadal, a lot of those big stars have moved on, they've retired. It's a whole new generation of young tennis players coming through. So there is room for these upstart 18-year-olds and the 19 and the 21-year-olds. A lot of them are people you've never heard of, but all of a sudden a tournament comes along and then boom, and then they get their spot. And then they become part of the conversation and they go from there. And I thought Wimbledon this year was just like that, where you're seeing, I call him Alcatraz. My mother-in-law hates it when I say it's not Alcatraz. I'm like, we're just joking around here, right? We're watching tennis. This is crazy. But to see that younger generation come through, it's wide open now because all the old guys are gone.
I'm here at the tournament in Toronto. I was talking to Andy Roddick as part of a fan event. And he said, I would have lost my house if you told me that, 3 years ago, there'd be two guys who are rivals, 1 versus 2, neck and neck, playing in majors with Sinner and Alcaraz right now. It's amazing, guys, isn't it, how sport is generational and it's kind of passed the torch from one era to the next. We're seeing it now. It's happening again. Crosby almost seamlessly passed it on to McDavid. On the American side, what we saw happen with the Tkachuks. And obviously now here.
Oh, did we lose Arash?
I think I'm back.
Yeah, you are.
Good bet.
Yeah.
Is it
Did
AI?
I see Summer McIntosh's face up there on the screen before it froze up on me? I just want to say one thing about Summer, guys. Just went to the World Championships, won 4 golds and a bronze. It's just becoming rubber stamping this every single time we're here in O Canada when she gets in the pool. It's just crazy.
Okay, we went really long here, so we only got time for a couple more because it's already almost the bottom of the hour. We got people waiting for trivia as well. But let's a little bit of CFL here, Arash. Tiger Cats game this weekend in Hamilton. I'm very intrigued by this game. Is your boy Shea going to be there?
Shea is going to be there. It is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander Appreciation Day in Hamilton. NBA champion, MVP coming back. He's going to the Ticats game. I don't know if he's going to have the Larry O.B. with him, but it's going to be great. There is literally nothing in it for Shea personally, financially to go, but he's going to be there, and he's going to sell some tickets. He's going to sell more tickets than anybody on the Ticats will. For a pretty important game in a rematch for BC against the Ticats. That
game and the Winnipeg-Calgary game. Two intriguing games. With us with our riders on a bye week, we can kick back and we're hoping for a tie.
Right.
In Calgary, right. Winnipeg. Yeah.
To me, the question is, if it's going to be different for BC, they have to get to both. They need to get pressure on the quarterback. That's something that the Lions just weren't able to do, just generate some kind of pass rush. If they do, they have a chance. If not, I think it's going to be a long day at the office.
We get to talk about this again on Thursday. Thanks so much. While we were doing this, Ron in Weyburn says he does have an old fridge for sale that works. Would be perfect for a beer fridge in a garage. So when you come into town in a few weeks, if you want to check that out, I can rip you out to Weyburn.
Hey, yeah, that's a great idea. Ron, if you tag me on Twitter, I'll retweet it for you to let everybody know that it's available. And tell you what, Ron, put whatever price you want on it, and we'll split the proceeds. Half goes to a charity of your choice. I promise to. If you tag me on social media, I'll pump it out on Twitter for you.
Or Barney, is Ron thinking he wants to sell it to Arash, like Arash needs it for his place in Toronto? And if Canada Post strikes a new deal, we'll just put it in the mail. They'll be pumped, ready to go.
I think we put it in the SportsCage studio, and we fill it with Lucky Lagers and Dr. Peppers, and away we go.
Arash, we've had the cable cut off before in that studio. We can't have it full of beer. And what if the power
Western
gets shut
pizza
off?
Leftovers?
If you do happen to run into Dave Naylor, though, let him know kind of ballpark what he charges for that place in Belize. Just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
For the month.
For a month.
Yeah. You never know.
Is there a direct from Regina to Belize?
Yeah. I get into buying and selling the fridge business. You never know where this could lead to, boys.
Yeah. We're on to something. Thank you, Ron.
See you Thursday, Arash. Coast to coast with the Arash Madani for Brian Gawley.